meters across, to the trillions of atoms swirling in a grain of sand. The universe is made from spinning wheels of energy, spinning wheels of stardust, giving birth to life. Wheels upon wheels spinning through space, solidifying into form, rotating on an axis, orbiting the sun, revolving and evolving through time. The one in the many, giving birth to life. With a single white moon, our shining blue planet spins in space. A planet made of earth and water, and fire and air. A planet of sound and light and beauty, and the consciousness of life. An intricate web woven with exquisite balance. This blessed earth, which is our home, is the great wheel from which our life arises. Generated from the heart of Divine Spirit, condensing into manifestation. The one in the many, Father Sky and Mother Earth. Between them, the 7 layers of manifestation form a rainbow bridge, connecting earth and heaven, the stepping stones from matter to spirit. Connecting through our bodies as we connect to each other and to the endless web of life that is seeking to become conscious. Aligned along a central channel called the Sushumna, the 7 chakras run from base to crown, generating the patterns of the auric field. Their spinning comes from the intersection of 2 basic currents, one from above and one from below. As these currents pass between the chakras, the centers spin like gears that take us on a journey through life. Together, these 7 chakras describe a profound formula for wholeness and a template for transformation. The location of the chakras in the body gives meaning to their respective levels of consciousness, which we will explore as we enter the lotus of each chakra, beginning with the 4-petaled red lotus located at the base of the spine. The first chakra represents the material world, the indrawing gravity of matter, the force which binds energy into form and creates the density that we experience as the physical world. Its element is earth, and this chakra represents the survival instinct and our primal connection to the earth's matrix of life. It is believed that the serpentine energy of the goddess Kundalini Shakti lies coiled 3½ times around the base chakra, holding matter together. When aroused, Kundalini journeys up the spine, piercing and awakening each chakra in turn, seeking her divine partner, Shiva, who abides in pure awareness. The name of this chakra, Muladhara, means root support. To have the proper foundation for the long journey upwards, one needs roots deep in the earth. It is here that you come home, to the peace, stillness, and solidity that is found in the natural world. Meditate here with your roots in the earth, honoring the temple of your body.
Hundreds of moai are scattered around this immense volcano, their height ranging from 15 to 36 feet. Here is the biggest, a 66 feet tall baby, and had it been achieved, would have weighed 250 tons. As for the unfinished Aswan obelisk, we can question how they planned to quarry it, transport it, and then haul it up. No current theory can explain such a statue transportation. The same goes for the many hundred tons and plus moai which have been displaced without any problems. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but so far nobody repeated this feat, and the biggest moai used in a jack-up experience was weighing less than 5 tons. The central moai weighs over 60 tons and sits 9 miles away from the quarry. The usual explanation goes like this: if it works for 5 tons, it works for 100. Nonetheless, in the real world, engineers and technicians speak with one voice. Carrying statues weighing 100 tons over several miles and set them on a pedestal is quite a stunt. Here again, the transportation and set issues had to be addressed. Although moai are always facing the land, this set of statue is, for some reason, the only one in the island gazing at the sea, and more precisely, facing west. The 7 pairs of eyes are watching the horizon of the equinoctial sunset, which is not surprising since the navigation skill of those people reveals a great astronomical knowledge. The last island's mystery is the writing, not yet deciphered. One heretic theory identifies it to the Mohenjo-Daro site glyphs through the surprising similarity of some signs. The problem is that this site happens to be 12,500 miles away. If we were not that far from Giza, we could think that those two peoples communicated, which could explain their common features. But also, since they face the same problems, it's very likely that their feelings matched. Because as some archaeologists put it, although they don't know each other, all the beavers of the world build the same dams. Why did Polynesians decide one day to leave what mattered to them most, land, family, friends, to venture on a pirogue trip? A perilous journey that would take them 2,500 miles away. What were they up to? How about those uncanny statues which don't look like Polynesians? Aquiline noses, thin lips, high foreheads, beards. And why such hands carving? Builders' hands? I will be confirmed that similar fittings to Vinapus could be found in Peru.
I think that in those two sites the stonework developed amazingly. And Sacsayhuaman as well as Vinapu are among the greatest examples. I couldn't say who influenced who or that we have been swayed by the Inca people.
Leaving those questions to archaeology, I left for Peru. There was this curious giant drawing called the geoglyph. Not much is known about it. Some pretend that it's less than 100 years old, others that it's been here forever, but since dating is impossible, bids are open. It's 549 feet long and it's precisely oriented north-south. By who, how, and why this face was carved here, nobody knows. My next stop was Nazca and its curious giant drawings. This 15 by 12 mile plateau has been discovered in 1926 while flying the region. Those geoglyphs and patterns have been ascribed to the Nazca civilization between 500 BC and 750 AD. Although those giant drawings of animals were executed in a single stroke, what impressed me the most were these immense shapes. And those perfectly straight lines, the longest stretching up to 13 miles. To give you an idea of the size, the small road that you can see is the Pan American, and the tiny things are trucks. From the ground, no drawings are visible, not even from the neighboring hills. They can only be seen from the sky. I dare the question, what's the use of them? To quantify the amount of thread for a fabric, or...
They were probably trails, or they were used for processions. As archaeologists say, those lines were drawn to walk on.
It didn't seem bothering to have nothing more convincing in store. Not far from Nazca, a pyramid had been discovered, and I heard that there might be 40 of them, but the site was hardly explored due to lack of funds. A few miles away at the Ica Museum, I was surprised to discover mummies elsewhere than in Egypt, and also those misshapen skulls, similar to that one ascribed to Akhenaten, an Egyptian pharaoh. Then I headed to Cusco, which in Inca means the world's belly button, like Rapa Nui, Easter Island's name. In the heart of the city, we find this wall made with huge blocks. 2 generations of walls, the oldest ones and the most recent. As in most constructions ascribed to the Inca people, this wall withstood earthquakes. And so did the Sacsayhuaman site, which towers the city, and which is often compared to the Vainapus wall in Easter Island. This time we get gigantic, whole rocks set with an extreme precision that we can't explain.
You shouldn't underestimate how much effort is involved in preparing the surfaces of each of the blocks.
Despite the fact that Peru is a place where earthquakes are very, very common, many structures built far later with modern technology vanish into dust, and these stones are still standing.
According to Malcu Arevalo, an Andean researcher, this site with Cusco and another sacred site, Kenko, forms a perfect triangle.
No podría decir enfáticamente.
I couldn't explain with certainty these coincidental metric distances with other sites in the world, specifically distances in hectometers or kilometers. But the proof is there, so there might be a source.
The following name on my list was Ollantaytambo, located at more than 1,200 miles. I started to get used to it. The most ancient constructions were the most massive and the stone fittings the most complex. How was it possible to lift those rocks on such a steep slope?
Nowadays we could lift stones of 10 tons to a reach of maybe 50 meters, to a height of 100 meters with very large cranes. But I mean, that's a huge piece of contemporary technology. What's amazing about it is that we couldn't do it now, and this was 500 years ago. If you imagine the Egyptians.
Oh, damn.